Making music has always been essential to the human experience. Music has the power to elicit deep emotion and create communitas. But does the frame in which we experience music define the extent to which we are involved in its creation? This semester in the Anthropology of Rock and Roll, we have separated presentational and participatory music into completely different categories. However, since the formation of the Grateful Dead, jam bands have been contradicting the separation of these two fields in the origins of the genre, and have continued through techniques used in live performances and how fans listen to recorded music. First, let's define what a jam band is.
One of the things that jam bands have that the others don't is other bands can improvise, but the jam culture kind of developed and with the Grateful Dead and stuck around in the 90s with Phish, meaning you have these people that will go to every show on the tour. It's really a free atmosphere, really fun. But beyond that, I would say the improvisation taken to a level where every band member shines. It's not just, or every band member has the opportunity to create a moment where you're like, oh my god, that was phenomenal.
There's ones that play basic rock music. There's ones that are very electronic oriented, actually play instruments. There are some that are country. There are some that are taking like bluegrass and going to that level where they play like improvisational, open-ended, really cool stuff like that. So whatever your preference for music, if you like that kind of open-ended nature, don't know what you're going to see, don't know what you're going to get, then it's a really interesting genre to sort of be a part of. To get the most out of it, if you have a wide appreciation of music in general, you can pick up that they're trying to play this particular song. They want you to know that they're improvising and they're getting to that song. One of the first groups that kind of created this sort of structureless concert experience, they started having these sort of parties where people would get together, they would hang out, they would take acid, some unknowingly, some knowingly, and as part of that there would usually be music involved, and the Grateful Dead kind of was the band that played there. They would kind of play songs, and motivated by whatever hallucinations or feelings they had, they would play music that occurred to them, and the people in the audience would respond to that. So this is very kind of back and forth between the band and the audience. Some people would be videotaping it, project images on the wall, so kind of like a art as it's going on kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Some people would stop playing and then they would join and just watch, and then people would play you drums. It was just this really weird, very interactive kind of party. The drugs sort of became less about LSD and more about the feeling that they got and the inspiration for that they started sort of playing music that seemed to be like motivated by that feeling.
After a few years, the Grateful Dead had refined their improvisational sound, created the musical style of jamming, and developed one of the most devoted followings in all of music history. Since then, the culture behind jam bands has evolved, bringing audiences and performers together in an unprecedented manner.
Phish, for example, was a group of 4 musicians that all met in the Northeast. And one of the things that they did, that the Grateful Dead did, was they promoted people to record their concerts.
The tape trade is huge. People have stacks of just Phish shows that they'd been to or they couldn't make, so their buddy went and they taped it.
Yeah.
And eventually that developed this model into Phish is going to record the shows and release them as soundboards right after the shows on their website. I have a show from the Wetlands Preserve, which is a club in New York City, from like 1987 on this, and it's bootleg, but it's not great quality, but I can still listen to it because of this tape trade built up this archive over the years.
Jam bands have not only changed the way fans interact with live recorded music, but also strive to make the live experience engaging and unforgettable. For example, Phish often includes antics such as singing with a vacuum, jamming on trampolines, and once putting on a 7-hour show.
You don't know what they're going to do on stage every night. Whether it's changing up the set list, that's at the most base level. They're going to play different songs every night. I've seen them 15 times, they've never played the same set list twice. They're just so comfortable with one another, and it's going to be crazy stuff happening every night, regardless. So it's just a completely different experience.
Jam bands such as Phish and the Grateful Dead represent the face of a genre fueled by improvisation and audience participation. The culture of jamming demonstrates a fan base can be highly involved in the creation of music. Finally, jamming shows the extent to which music can be a social experience, rather than simply a performance vehicle.